So, hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Topper Talks, where we connect you with all with the brilliant students of Delhi University. So, today we have Ashwath, who is my junior at SRCC. He had a brilliant score of 792, a very brilliant score. So, Ashwath, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Ashwath from Tamil Nadu and I had a score of 792 in CUET and I'm currently pursuing BCom honors at SRCC.
Okay. So, Ashwath, how was your journey from class 12 to CUET? Like, what was your thinking in class 11? There are many students from class 11 as well who are seeing your videos. So, what's that one thing you had in your mind so that you can, score such a brilliant score and get into Asia's best commerce college?
Actually, to be honest, I didn't even know that a college called SRCC existed until my final exams of class 11. I was just browsing casually and that is when I came across SRCC. And the moment I saw it, I was like, I want to be here. And class 12, I was the head boy of my school and I didn't concentrate much on studies, but being a person who was academically good for a long period, I was able to cope up and I didn't score great in both, but I did manage to score well enough to in both. And I didn't prepare for CUT until my boards were over. My boards were over and I rested for a week or two. And then I started my preparation. Approximately, I prepared for 1.5 months or so. That's when I started preparing for CUT. It's like I didn't take any coachings or anything. It was purely self-study and I just bought a few mocks from online.
So, Ashwath, you did mention right now that you did not prepare for CUET. Differently in class 12. Why? Because you also think, right? Because CUET is not different from
Yeah.
boards, or what do you think?
CUD, I would not say it's so different from boards. In some aspects, it's easier than boards, and in some aspects, it's difficult than boards. Like in boards, you have to prepare for a subjective paper, and there's compulsorily you have to memorize a few points or something. But both are complementary to each other. If you prepare for boards, it's preparing for CUT also. I would advise to prepare for boards as well as possible, as good as you can. As the level of preparation you have for both, the more the score you will get in CUET.
So that's what the point, guys. We have been telling you, we have been guiding you for more than 1 year, and now it's pretty clear that you don't have to prepare for CUET differently. CUET is not different; it is just the MCQ, version of boards. So, guys, please focus on your boards as well, because if you neglect boards, 1.5 months, it's not big enough to cover whole of the syllabus, right? So you have to prepare continuously and consistently, right? Just like Ashwath did. So, Ashwath, according to you, what's the importance of NCRT in CUET? Because many juniors, they tend to neglect NCRT. Like we have done refreshers, we have done Sandeep Gar, we have done VK. Why to do NCRT? So, what's your view on that?
I would say that it depends on the subjects, but NCRT is the Gita for CUET. It's like there are many questions where the exact lines from NCRT has been given, and even if you have the conceptual understanding, without knowing those lines, you will not be able to attend those questions. It's like I would prefer NCRT for BST and IED. And for macro, I would suggest some other books than NCRT because the NCRT, you could not get conceptual understanding with the NCRT book. And English, you know that the concepts are different from the class 12 one.
Okay. So, Ashwath, what were the subjects that you appeared for in CUET, and what is your subject-wise strategy? Because it is very important
Yeah.
to crack each individual subject in CUET because it is in a combined score. So, how did you crack those subjects? What are your strategies, and what would you recommend juniors who are currently studying in 12th to strategize their studying pattern to ace CUET as well?
Yeah, I would start with accounts. Accounts is a subject that requires a large amount of practice. You should have enough practice and you should also keep a small focus on MCQs because in accounts, MCQs are way different from subjective questions. There are particular topics and you should be well versed in those. I would prefer either DK Goyal or TS Griwal in accounts. I would also not suggest NCRT for accounts. Then going with BST, prepare each and every line and go reread the NCRT book for several times as much as you can. Also practice MCQs in BST. For economics, I would say practice the numericals as much as possible. And also the, macro, you should have a good conceptual understanding. And IED, prepare the years and the numericals and the data points in IED. Then English, you should have a good grasp of a grammar, vocabulary, and reading comprehension. This you can't study from somewhere or anything. It comes by practice. You should practice a lot for these. Yeah.
Okay. So, any other strategy for English? Ashwath, you have told everything,
Hmm.
around e-strategy, but still, juniors are very, very
Yeah.
confused that what should we do right now? Like after CUET, everyone knows we have to do this,
Hmm.
but what right now they can do so that they have a good level of confidence before 1.5 months as well.
Yeah, since I didn't have a long time, I couldn't prepare well for English, but I would suggest a book called Word Power Made Easy for Vocabulary. And the juniors have enough time to prepare themselves the entire book. And for grammar, I would suggest High School Grammar by Brennan Martin. It's an amazing book. And it's like you can't predict which topics will come or go. Like I had my exam after a few days from the first day. So I knew from the previous ships like what kind of answers questions were asked and which topics were asked. So I prepared those particular topics from YouTube channels.
Right. So, Ashwath, one more thing. According to you, what's the importance of practicing mocks in CUET? Because many people,
Yeah.
tend to skip mocks, tend to skip PYQs, and they think, I have learned the course. Like, is enough.
The first most important thing about mocks is time management. It's like you feel like you could do it, but when you get in the exam center, you could not manage it. You should have a proper practice and time management before going there. And second thing I would advise you is not to get demotivated by doing mocks. Like when I done by mocks, I got 720, 730. I even got 650 in a mock paper. Not to get demotivated by it because CUD is a new exam paper and the mock preparers also don't have enough resources to prepare accurate mocks. It will get used over time, but prepare mocks and mocks are very important. You could get a capability, also you could understand which topics you are weaker in and which topics you are strong. I mean,
Right. So, according to you, mocks are very, very important. But guys, as Ashwath said, and other interviews will also hear because it is not important to, take mocks by heart. Right? Mocks are just a practice paper, not the actual paper. So, Ashwath, did you solve any PYQs as well?
I didn't have any particular PVQs, but I got the past papers. NTA has put out only a few papers in their website, but you could contact your seniors and we have our papers which we have attended. So that would be useful. And I did solve a few.
Okay. So, Ashwath, how would you, sum up the CUET journey in like few lines? How would you sum up your journey? Like your journey is very inspiring, motivating. So, how would you sum up that?
I would say it was a roller coaster ride from waiting for the admit cards to finding the centers and the answer key changes. And it would be difficult, but you should keep up with the updates and all of those and be sure with your preparation and nothing could beat your preparation.
Right. So one thing Ashwath said very nicely, it is a roller coaster ride. Like in my batch also in 2022 batch also, we have to wait for, CUET exam, lasted for more than like around 2 months, right? So it was a very long time for exams. Then we have to wait for answer key. Then there are certain normalization changes. So we can't control the uncontrollable factors, but what you can control is your preparation, your strategies, and you can, listen to people like Ashwath who have, excelled in this examination. They have got their dream colleges as well. So Ashwath, juniors also want to know how's life at SRCC because they are dreaming to be at your place the next year or the next to next year as well. So how's life at SRCC and how do you feel like being called an official SRite and how do you perceive life when you have become an SRite?
The feeling that I wouldn't be able to describe in words, but it's a very great feeling and being like taking the clock tower picture itself. That's the best feeling over here. And there are like events happening every day. The great people you get to meet, the professors, the level of academic environment here. Also, don't expect too much. Also, have your limits, expectations in limits. But it's a great place, and this is the best place you can be if you are in commerce.
Right. So the same happened with me as well. The feeling of being an SRite, not an SRite. College doesn't matter. The feeling of achieving things you've dreamt of when you were, as a junior, and now as a senior, when you tell this, it is a very, heartwarming feeling. It is very important to know that college doesn't not matter, but what matters is your hard work, perseverance, consistency, etc. So Ashwath, summing up the interview, any message for your juniors, like any one message for your juniors to motivate them, to, you have told them everything, but any one-liner motivation.
Trust yourself and always stay connected with mind. Ayushman and Kinjal are the best people you could have for guidance in with respect to CUET or SRCC. It's like I used to message them at 12 in the night, 11 in the night, and they used to reply the very moment. You have great people here, and make sure you make the best use of them.
Okay, thank you so much, Ashwath, for your time for this interview. It was a very, interactive interview. And thank you so much, guys, for watching this interview. You can see Ashwath as example of, true consistency, perseverance, determination, etc. And do follow our Topo Talk series for more search, views. Thank you so much, Ashwath. Thank you, everyone, for watching the interview.